Saxon Algebra 1/2, Lesson 105. Greetings, Caleb. I don't know where you are at this point. I don't know if you're in Nebraska, Edmonds, or someplace in between. But here comes Lesson 105. The good news is we already covered most of this material, just, I don't know, lesson maybe 99 or so. This is very similar. I don't know why John is having out this again, but that's okay. We're going to evaluate powers of negative bases. What does that even mean? I'll show you. Again, words make math sound so much more complicated. The numbers show you everything you need to know. There are 3 examples in this lesson. Here comes the first one. Oh, the first one's sneaky. It's got that A and B thing going on, right? So here's part A. Okay, this tells us we're taking the quantity, parentheses always say quantity, of -3 and we're squaring it. So we're actually multiplying -3 times -3, and the answer we get is +9. That's correct. B is ever so slightly different, ever so slightly. We just drop the parentheses away. But it changes this a whole lot, right? Sometimes we can drop parentheses out of a problem and it doesn't change a thing. In the situation of evaluating powers of negative bases, it changes everything. When those parentheses aren't there to protect the minus sign and basically bundle it with the base, we can get in there with our finger and we can just cover it up. That means we get to ignore it. We calculate 3 squared. It's just 3 times 3, right? There's no negative sign involved in this. We get 9. Now that we're done with the calculation, we say, oh, but we have a minus sign, so we put it back in front. 2 very different answers on 2 problems that look a whole lot alike. So we have to be careful to think about whether we have parentheses protecting our minus sign so that it gets squared too, or whether we can cover it up, square what's left, and then add it at the end. All right? That's the first one. Okay, now we have 3 of them. Oh, John. A squared. Okay, A squared is, oh, I see what we're doing. We're supposed to find A squared and then suddenly I want to put 2 things around them. I don't know what I'm doing. This looks like the book, that's why. And then minus A squared, and then, but for both of these, A is equal to -4. Okay, so if we want to do A squared, here's what we do. We always put in buckets for our letter and then square it, right? So in this case, we're putting -4 into the bucket, right? That means we can't get at that minus sign. That means we're squaring the minus as well as the base. And that makes this become +16, right? Now, this one's different. The minus sign is not protected by parentheses. Now, let me just write it. It was -4, right? Right, because we're doing this. So this minus is on the outside. This minus is on the inside. That means we can cover up this one, but we can't get to that one. So we do -4 times -4. That equals +16. But now we have this minus, so this one becomes -16. You can see how this kind of runs in circles really quickly, right? You have to keep your head on very straight. Okay? Easy to get confused. Oh no, there is no part C. I made that up. But there is an example 105.3, and we don't need that. It says, evaluate A squared minus AB squared minus B squared if A equals -2 and B equals -3. Okay, we have to buckle our seatbelts, dude, because look, we have minuses in our expression and we have minuses in our values. We're gonna have to be very careful and think clearly and write neatly because this could go really bad really fast. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rewrite this with buckets. And I'm going to scooch it over a little bit so I can spread it out. So we're going to have a squared minus ab squared minus b squared. Okay? The buckets are essential because we have minuses in our formula, or our, yeah, I said this already, but we have minuses here and we have minuses here. If we don't use buckets carefully, we're going to lose our minds. We may lose our minds anyway. Okay, a equals minus 2, so I put it here and here. B equals minus 3, I put it here and here. All right. If I needed a sandwich, this would be a good time to break for one because I've gotten through the first set of hurdles. Now I'm facing the second. So here I go. I don't need a sandwich, I'm fine. This minus sign is protected by the parentheses. That means we let it get squared too. Okay, that's just a minus 3. Okay, let me just take it all the way through. I'm not going to go down. Okay, so this becomes positive 4. Now here, oh, I wrote a b up there. That's actually squared. So this is minus 3 times minus 3, right? That's the square. Okay, so look at how many, and I made a mistake here. You must have been dying watching me do this. Okay, so what I see is that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 minus signs, right? Because this becomes positive 9, negative 18, then plus 18, right? All those numbers get multiplied together. We smush all the signs. It's happy. Okay, and then down here, we have this minus sign we can cover up. This one gets squared. It's protected by the parentheses. This much becomes positive 9, and then we have minus 9. Make sense? That's a lot, isn't it? That is a lot. And then we have 22 minus 9 equals 13. Okay, so my tips to you on this sort of problem are buckets. Go really slow. Be careful putting your values in. Don't do what I did and put the wrong one in. Take your time and really think this through. It's easy, yes, but it's also easy to make a mistake. And then go through one term at a time and think about whether you can protect, whether you can cover up the minus signs or whether it's protected by parentheses and you can't get at it. To me, that finger trick of trying to get in, no, I can't get that one, so I have to square. Writing little notes to yourself. Those are all tiny little tips that will help you stay on track. Good luck. This is important. We'll be using these skills a lot. That's lesson 105.